this, there's a topic that I had already had in my notes for this that we actually started covering a little bit, and it's the threshold, right? So the threshold between a hardcore match and where it becomes like backyard wrestling, like where it becomes too much. You know what I mean?
The threshold on that is interesting.
There's a fine line.
If you watch the King of the Deathmatch matches from the 90s that like Mick Foley and Terry Funk were in, a bunch of other guys over in Japan. I can't remember what the company was called, whatever. Either way, if you watch those matches, you go, oh, I don't know what the threshold is anymore. Because they're like, well, there's barbed wire and there's a ring explosion that looks like a real ring explosion. And there's guys just cut wide open and they look like they're dying. And it's like
WWE's done barbed wire.
The guy with a freaking chainsaw and shit.
But WWE...
Have they really?
Yeah, well, they would do
like a barbed wire wrapped bat, but not
bat.
Ropes. Fuck ropes.
Yeah, not the...
The only rope match I've ever really seen that's memorable to me is Sabu Terry Funk, and it's just the hardest to watch thing ever.
Well, you know what also sucked was the one where they... Inferno match or something where they like lit the entire ring apron on fire. Was it Kane or something like that?
Got lit on fire. But it was it was like his glove. And he's like,
yeah. Ding, 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 ding. It's like, oh, okay.
Such a letdown. It looked super cool on camera. And then it was, But what did you want? You want a guy to die in a fire.
I think like, so there's barbed wire, like they'll put it on like a piece of plywood.
Yeah,
right?
Or a bat or something.
And that isn't, to me, that's not over the line. Like, cause you get thumbtacks and shit like that.
Here's where the line is for me, I think. Now that you're saying that you just brought it to me. How extreme is it out of the control of the workers? So like the ropes is very extremely outside of their control.
Yeah.
If they hit the ropes, it could immediately go the way of Sabu versus Terry Funk, where it just ends with them tied in knots in barbed wire, bicep cut off, laying on the ground on the outside going, just call the fucking match. We're done. We're done. We're dying.
Right. How manageable is it for the talent?
And that's just because the ropes, they were ropes. So they hit the ropes and it just tangles and turns into a mess. And now they're just destroyed.
Yeah.
It's like
the scissors.
Let's run at a barbed wire fence. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And like the scissors. Yeah, they can control it to an extent, but it's...
But it's also weirdly not believable.
It's weirdly not. It'd be like bringing a hatchet to the ring, and you're like,
"Well, yeah, that's why
you just are killing a guy, or it's not believable."
Well, Drew McIntyre used to bring a sword.
He didn't use it in matches, though.
No,
that's the problem. The second he pulls the sword in a match, you go, "Whatever happens here, disbelief is no longer suspended because he's killing a guy, or else
he just goes,
one
in two pieces of him.
Yeah." And I just don't. I don't like scenarios where the only option for that getting used is emergency medical procedure to save a guy's life.
Yeah.
That's where I'm lost.
And it's weird because like you can get that. Like Mick Foley going through the cage and all that shit. Like he should have ended the match probably, but it wasn't like an over the line thing. That wasn't supposed to happen though when they chokeslammed him.
True, not that way.
The throwing off the cage that was planned, I'm pretty sure.
And that is so fucked up, dude.
Yeah, but Mick is just fucking crazy.
Yeah.
He's gonna do that, so you
and
can't tell him no.
And the price he's paid is why other people shouldn't want to,
Right.
It's why WWE cares and goes, man, I don't think that's the direction we need to go.
Do that again.
Yeah.
Certainly. Although they might. They'll do it safer though. They've got ways to do things safer. Dude, like the way that the announce tables are now is like so safe.
Yeah.
Like they're angled perfectly. Like,
there's some weird stuff that happens. There's some weird stuff.
Yeah.
Ways guys falls or whatever that are ways that guys fall that are awkward where you go, they're hurt.
But they know how it's supposed to break.
That's right.
They know how they're supposed to land on it. The problem is they don't always do that.
Yeah.
And there's nothing you can do about it. Sometimes that's out of your control.
Exactly, yeah.
But there's like, man, sometimes there are just things where you're like, okay, the suspension of disbelief isn't there anymore.